All right, everybody. I just want to be honest. You can tell by the length, we have a bit of a heater here for you. Okay, the showcase itself is on a really good weapon, and what we talk about, I feel like it's pretty cool. Like it's a little bit of history about me, essentially, but the weapon we're going over is just so dang good. Like y'all know, the roulette, one of the best weapons in the game. We got it with its proper setup in terms of at least having a ripper mag on it. That's what you really want. And honestly, I'm just really excited to showcase it for you, because at level 60, you already know this gun is gonna fry. Of course, I do have to always give huge thanks and shout out to our channel members. Not only that, but we actually have a new member of our member family. Shout out to Bodotron coming in at the Kaioken level. Much love, my man. Hope you are doing good. Welcome to the channel members, brother man. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Bodotron joins the likes of Pikachu, KJ, Perplexity, and General as members of the channel. If you ever want to get your name shouted out and mentioned in videos, all you gotta do is become a tier 1 member of the channel. I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to our channel members, and a big ups, a huge thank you to our newest channel member once again, Bodotron, my man. Thank you so much, homie. Hope you are doing well, and hope you guys are ready to see a beautiful weapon kick some butt. That being said, fellas, let's go ahead and roll the dice. Let's get on with the showcase. Good morning, my homies, fellas, people of the Borderlands. We are back for another legendary showcase. And in this video, we have, in my opinion, one of the funnest types of weapons in Borderlands, the Gamba weapon, right? In Borderlands 3, I like to consider the Lucky 7 the role of that weapon. And in this game, we have the Roulette. This is a weapon that came out with Bounty Pack 2, the Stone Demon one, and this weapon quickly showed its prominence just through its perk. And even though it is an order weapon, you already know we got a Ripper license magazine here on it to really help it crank. All right, a lot of people don't like order weapons, but that's why we have the licensed part system to help counteract parts of manufacturers we don't like. Order weapons, you generally have to hold and it'll fire a burst, right? Generally about 5 or so. The Roulette, or rather the Ripper license magazine, just allows it to bypass that and fire fully automatic once we do a little charge up beforehand. Essentially, an infinite shooting fusion rifle in pistol form. But let me tell you right now, this weapon is awesome. Its legendary perk on reload gain random buffs. What that means is in the bottom left hand corner of your screen, you'll see the little golden pistol. That is the legendary icon for this weapon, to signify how many buffs you have. Now, before I started recording, I got it up to 6 or so, but for the sake of just showcasing everything, what we're going to do is I'm going to reload it a few times. Oops. Like so. 4 buffs. 7 buffs. Okay. That took honestly way shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to reload like 5 or 6 times. What this number actually is doing, it's signifying how many random buffs you have. What are those buffs exactly? Those buffs are essentially doubling any of your weapon stats, whether it's damage, reload speed, handling, fire rate, magazine size. It's doubling all of those. When you reload, that is what your buffs are. Any chance to buff a stat on the weapon, double it essentially. And since we have 100, you see our mag is now 48. It was just 24. And if we were to go to fire it at an enemy, you would see that our fire rate is through the roof, our handling's through the roof, our accuracy is through the roof, our damage is through the roof. Everything is through the roof. This is what this weapon does best. It gets you through the roof. And so long as you have a build that is designed to upkeep ammo, you should be able to hold on to your super juice magazine for longer periods of time. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that you can hold it infinitely, because sometimes things don't go quite according to plan. And even though we do have 3 out of 3 in a war wagon and 5 out of 5 in a nothing beats lead, there still might be a little silly situation where I burger, I miss, or I just go a little bit willy-nilly and we reload. It happens. It's cool. Also, by the setup, War Wagon with Nothing Beats Lead, just a very good combo. And you have Gleam to Glow and Unshaken, which really does help just provide more bang for our buck. Fortune is all what cash is about, so might as well get Unshaken. Increase damage from all sources for every fortune stack we lose. That pairs really good with Gloam to Glow. Who would have thought? And that is what we're here for. Also, we do have 1 and 2 Accursed Bones and Can't Stop Winning. This is how we can proc Windfall without having to manually reload. Since we're using a weapon that we really don't want to be reloading too much, we want to get its juice mag and hold that juice mag for as long as possible. So with that, we have our green tree, 4 out of 5 into Fortuna. I like Red Moon Rising. I just love getting extra elements for our weapons. Whenever we're dealing damage, we just deal multiple instances of elements. I feel like that's really good. That also pairs with, of course, Alchemy to get us more fortune stack, and that'll pair really well with Gloam to Glow and Unshaken whenever we lose those fortune stacks via sliding, because Dusty Trail, while we're not spec'd into it, our Wind Rider has it on its own comm, which is very nice. We do have 3 out of 3 in a Deadeye. We're on cash. We're on a gun damage cash setup. We are going to fry. And something else that I feel like that this class item rolls into that's very valuable is this skill, Dealer's Bluff. The fact that I have 2 out of 3 into this bad boy all the way down here is so valuable. You gain a stack of fortune, restore action skill cooldown. This essentially, just these 2 points alone allow us to infinitely throw our bone totems. It's pretty darn awesome. We can infinitely throw these bad boys just because of our class item. We have 2 out of 3 in a Dealer's Bluff. Dealer's Bluff is a very good perk or skill to spec into if you're able to for high acting skill uptime. I do have the Disruptor here. It does have 87% pistol crit damage, which will help our pistol roulette here. And we also do have High Roller, which is pretty dang good on this type of weapon. And Freeloader is low-key just not that useful on this type of setup, so we won't really have to worry about that. I'm a big fan of the Kill Spring. It's my favorite rep kit in the game. Easily. It just does so much for your survivability without you even thinking about it or having to do anything for it. Overall, really good. And y'all already know, just the same sucker for the watts for dinner, bro. Siphon wants for dinner. Bring that down here, boy. Bring that shield down here, boy. And this is just here as a stat stick to have some extra Deadeye for 3 out of 3, because 3 out of 3 Deadeye, probably the best firmware. Oh man, I didn't even realize that these two combined have 2 out of 3 in a skill craft. This is actually really useful for our bone totems. If we were more focused on an active skill build, this is definitely probably something like, I just like having skill damage. Like for cards, you probably would want maybe even 3 out of 3 of skill craft for cards. Just cards in general are really good, at least if you are spamming the corrosive one. Now specializations, I know people are gonna be asking, yo, Kree, let me get up specializations, boy. No, you don't get to see it. No, I'm just kidding. I have it only spec'd into here still, just because I don't want to waste your iridium to respec it. So it's the weapon's gonna fry, do well, and the specializations aren't crazily spec'd for it to do insanely well, but it's still gonna do really well, which is awesome. We've done quite a few showcases with this setup at this point. Dude, Dark Beast being one of them. I haven't done our level 60 bod showcase yet. I kind of want to do one of those soon. We've done it for the Cyclone. We've done it for the Hellwalker. We have not done it for the Mantra yet. I want to get a really strong melee build for the Mantra before we showcase this one. It's really good for the shoot and shoot. Question for anyone who's used level 60 Wombo combo. Does it feel weaker to you, or is that just me? Because I was playing around with it last night because I wanted to showcase the Wombo combo, but I didn't feel like it was quite hidden like it once was. So maybe that's skill issue, but hey. That being said, fellas, we're not going to do some moving and shaking. We have our roulette. I think the laser cutter, I'm missing something with this weapon because it feels like this weapon sucks. Because I was going to showcase this weapon yesterday, but there was something about it I was just not quite enjoying about it. So we're audibling and doing the roulette instead. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go ahead, fellas. Let's get moving. Let's hop over to a vault. Let's enjoy life. Let's do what we do best. Yap and play Borderlands 4. And we'll start over in a vault of Inceptus. We're over here in our area. So I think I'm already thinking ahead, right? For our Bloomreaper run, because we don't have a Jacob's art rolled on it. Also, while we're on this topic, since I'm here and we're talking about a Bounty Pack 2 weapon, please, if anybody else has had this issue, I would really like to know, because when I went to actually go farm for it, farm Vortex, I didn't even have the ability to load into the area. The only way for me to play it on my cache was I had to quite literally replay the entire mission. Where is it? Yeah, Cursed Mine. I had to replay this entire mission just to get to the area to farm the boss. I don't know if that's a bug, if I have to do something specifically, but I ran through the entire DLC. I defeated the stone demon at the end, thinking that would unlock the area for me. It didn't. So I don't really know if that's like a design issue. Obviously, cache came out afterwards, and I made my cache at level 30 after that DLC came out. But, oh, that was... hold on, guys. Let me reset the instance here. But, you get what I mean? Like, shouldn't DLC be unlocked for my weapon at this point? I don't know why it's not. Not really the biggest fan of that. I was really hoping that it would allow me to grind the DLC. Yeah. Oh, second try again? Because I wanted to farm Vortex for a good roll of the roulette and a shiny. But, like, after a few runs, I always like to save quit just so my loot isn't cluttered and cluttering everything. But when I went to go do that, guess what happened? It made me restart the entire DLC over. That's not how I roll. I was not trying to run through the entire DLC just to farm one boss. You know what I mean? So if any of you guys have ran into that problem and have found a solution, yo, please, down below in the comments, help your boy out. Let me know. Because I would love to know the issues. I know there's sometimes issues like that with Borderlands games with... There's just always been some sort of like little like issues like that pop up, and it's a bit annoying considering right now Cash is like my main character that I'm like playing on and farming on and just doing everything on videos, farming, grinding. It's all on Cash at the moment for your boy. Ooh, a vile enemy. Vile enemy. I don't like vile enemies, Chad. You guys know this, but it's fun. It's chill. Reminder is what I'm listening to, by the way, by the weekend. This is something I started doing in the recent showcase where, because I listen to music when I do these live, obviously I can't let y'all, I can't have that music be in the, is this guy invisible? Oh, he was the big bad over this little area and he got this shit done. But I can't let the music play in the video. It's not really something that I like to tempt fate with. That's just me though. Real talk, that's just me. Oh, Out My Way by Juice WRLD, love this song. Now, something I want to talk about, chat, is lines of work that I am proficient in, or we're all proficient in. You know, I'll just talk about my little work history, right? I feel like this could be fun because I do this YouTube stuff and this content creation stuff this is just what I like to do, right? Oh no, I reloaded. I knew this was gonna happen. It's fine. I felt like this was gonna happen at some point. It's par for the course. It's chill. Although I don't really know how the stacks that we're up to now. I really lost that mag that quick. It's fine. You know what? Oh. I don't know. I want to get up to 7. Come on. 4. Come on. Bring it back. 3. 5. I won't get too greedy. I'll take 5. Oh, we'll take 5, chat. 5 will help us out. So, my first ever job, I worked at this smoothie place, and I started working there. It was my first ever job. I turned 16. It was my sophomore year of high school, and a lot of my friends had started getting cars. Like, their parents had, like, bought them cars and whatnot. And that was, like, I really wanted a car as well, because I recently had got my license, as I just recently turned 16. And so I was like, yo, parents, you know, a lot of my friends who've already turned 16, they got a car for their 16th birthday. Can I get one? And my mom went, yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely get a car for your birthday. And before I could even say anything, she was like, but you're just gonna have to get a job, work to save up for it. And then once you do that, you'll do it. We'll help you get a car. And I was like, okay. So I started looking for, a job, and since I was a little young and on their first ever job hunt, I got hired at this little smoothie place. This place made smoothies. Wasn't anything special. I was only 16 years old. They paid me minimum wage, and I thought it was sick. I was like, dude, what? I got that first ever paycheck, $197. I said, wait. Oh, this is all my money? You know, I was 16. I'm not paying any rent or anything right now. So I'm just thinking like, yo, $116. Like, you might as well just consider, we are in there, bro. 197 bucks. Like, this is big. This is huge. This is immaculate. Like, I'm excited. I was like, dude, this was the first time I ever had like my own form of money coming in. I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I like this. So I continued to work there, even though it was only minimum wage, which minimum wage back in 2016 was $7.25 an hour, which obviously isn't that. Is it me, or have I never seen this before? I'll pick it up because I don't think I've ever seen the Raven Fire. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to run through this. We're going to wreck Inceptus's cranium again here. All right? Just, I'm letting y'all know right now. We're going to run through it again. But that first ever paycheck, I was like, wow. Okay, hold up. This is lit. So I had an idea once I got that, because a lot of my friends had also, at that time, switched over from Xbox to PlayStation, because this was the year Black Ops 3 was in its like prime, because Black Ops 3 came out in 2015, November of 2015, right? So through that, what happened is a lot of my friends wanted to get the DLCs early still. So what did we do? What did they do? They switched to PlayStation. They got a PS4 to play all the Call of Duty expansions early and whatnot. And I was kind of like, wait, all my homies are leaving me? All the main people I play Call of Duty with, they all just bloop. So I was like, okay, wait a second, I have an idea. What if I go ahead and shop a good old PlayStation 4 instead? So after my first paycheck, I started browsing around. Granted, this is about 3 years after PlayStation 4s had came out, and I decided, okay, I'm going to get a PlayStation 4. First thing I wanted to get was PlayStation 4. I wanted to play with my friends again. I wanted to get Black Ops 3 on the PS4 so I could play the DLC early, a month early, right? Because that's how the COD exclusivity worked back then, is that whatever contract they were signed exclusively for a month, they would get the DLC a month early before all the other platforms, which really sucked if you weren't on the main platform. And for a long time, me growing up until that point, it was Xbox. So in my sophomore year, when they just all of a sudden switched up because Sony offered them a bag. I mean, fair enough, that's how business works. I was like, wait, what? My friends all switched. I was like, wait, what? Guys, why are we switching? It's fine. I adapted because I had homies in school that had been on PlayStation, you know, their whole lives and whatnot. And I just never considered I was gonna be able to play with them because of I was on Xbox, they were on PSN. It felt just like, all right, I guess, you know, if I'm not gonna really be able to play the game that much with them. But when Call of Duty did their thing, I mean, that was the catalyst to have a lot of my Xbox homies switch to PSN, and for me to switch over to PSN. So luckily, one of my friends, they were selling their PS4 at school, so I got it for essentially just $200, which was very, very awesome, very nice little deal. RIP to my homie, man. The homie, fun fact, the homie who actually sold me that PS4, he actually he bit the bullet last year, January 15th. Rest in peace, my good man James. Hope you're living well up there, my man. Rest easy, buddy. Rest easy. Sorry about digressing there, but it's just whenever I tell this story, it's now something that I feel like I just should mention it, because it just instantly hits me in the head, like when I talk about like how I even got that PlayStation 4. That's ultimately like what happened. But anyways, so I got the PlayStation 4, I got PSN, whatever, and I started playing Rise and Track. But after I got that PlayStation 4 and a controller for it, I then decided to really start saving all my paychecks, essentially, because we got paid bi-weekly, right? Every 2 weeks, that's when we would get paid. And granted, I was in 10th grade. I wanted to have a car by the time junior year rolled around, right? So what I did is that entire summer of 2016, 2016 was the first summer that I ever, I had a job, so it was the first summer I ever worked. So it was the first summer that instead of just playing video games, because the year before I just played an absolute metric ton of Destiny 1, and I made quite a decent amount of Destiny 1 videos, although they weren't really that good. I was 15 making them on a laptop, so I mean, go figure. I didn't really have much going for me. I wasn't really good at the game. I was a squeaker, and my equipment sucked, but it's chill. So 2016 was the summer I actually had a job for the first time, and I worked a good chunk of times, dude. Like I remember there was 1 week in that summer where I worked 36 hours. And at the time, for a little 16-year-old me, 36 hours was kind of a lot. In all of those, they were all closing shifts. Granted, closing down a smoothie place isn't really that difficult or that much work. Like, we'd close at 9 o'clock, and we'd be out of that bad boy sometimes at 9:05. Like, that's not bad whatsoever. And I got my car. It was a 2009 Saturn Aura. It costed me $3,000, but I got that bad boy and I bought it in, what was it? I think it was late October, early November of 2016 was when I finally got it. And I was so freaking happy. A month later, fun fact, me and my buddy Dejan, we took it out drive because we had a meeting. I picked him up, and then we went to the meeting, and then afterwards he was like, yo, Kree, let me drive. I let him drive. He hit a really gnarly fishtail drift because the roads were slick because it was raining, and I was like, wait, did my friend just show me up in my own whip with a beautiful drift? So on the way to me dropping him off, I was like, nah, I'm not having this. So you know what I did? I decided to hit a nice little fishtail too. I hit too much of a naughty fishtail that I kind of lost a little bit of control of the whip, and I hit the curb, I hit a sign, sent that sign flying into a nearby pond, scraped the ever-living fuck out of my oil pan, let it just leak for 5 days, went to go pick up an Xbox mic for my buddy across the street, and my car died. I drove it essentially on no oil, fucked up the motor, and I then had to cough up another $800-900 in January of 2017 to fix it. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta learn the mistakes the hard way. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, that was my first job. I held that job all the way until my senior year started, basically till late September, October of 2017 is how long I held that job for. The only reason I even stopped working there was my managers and my boss, they were beginning to run into just raw scheduling conflicts with me, because I was granted it was my senior year at that point, and I was a big, they know how much I love football, and since my senior year of football, I had practice till 6:30 during every day of the week. I had games on Friday nights, and then God forbid if they did anything on the weekend, because sometimes, depending on how our performance was on Friday, they would make us come up to the field on Saturday for Saturday practices. We're listening to Often by the Weekend, by the way, right now. Sometimes it's just like, okay, so what? I have Saturday night and Sunday, and then 7 to close. Keep in mind, guys, we close at 9 o'clock. So I would work, 2.5 hours, 2 nights during the week, and then 1 actual normal shift on the weekend. And it just became to the point where the managers were like, yo, there's not much we can even do for you in terms of getting you on the schedule at this point. And with our influx of new hires and everything that we have, it's best that we just let you go. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Understandable. We'll go ahead. I'll accept defeat. And they were really nice to me. It was my favorite job. I worked there almost 2 years, a good solid 18-19 months. And through that, I gained some experience. It was my first ever job, and I was kind of proud that I held that job for as long as I did. It was my first one. But after I got let go, I played out the rest of football season. But then afterwards, I was like, okay, well, I liked having money coming in, so I decided to start looking around for another job. It was supposed to be late November, early December of 2017. this place that I briefly worked at, it was called Mermaids. I literally just went in there. I just asked the owner. I was like, hey, I turn 18 real soon. Could I get a job here when I turn 18? And the owner, even though they didn't really have like crazy business, the owner really respected just like my approach. I was like, you know what? Yeah, whenever you turn 18, come up here and I'll get you some work for you. I'll put you to work. And I was like, okay, cool. Essentially, bro, I didn't really have an actual position. I was just the guy to do any miscellaneous tasks. So, for example, if any dishes needed to be washed for the the kitchen, I would go back there. I would run them all through, clean them up, make sure they're all good to go. Like that, I would do. I would bust some tables. I would even do some bar back stuff. I would help pick, just because I was also pretty strong and I was a football player, did a lot of weightlifting. So any heavy lifting, they would ask me to do. And I would bust. I would get down dirty. I'd clean some disgusting coolers. I would organize, literally just anything and everything. I would even start doing some basic kitchen work as well. Prep, dunk some stuff in the fryers. Help my my fellow kitchen workers. Again, the kitchen only had like 2 people in there at max, and they paid me under the table. They paid me cash. It was a nice little place. Nice little dive bar, and I got to get some experience. But since they paid me under the table, I was never technically officially on the schedule. My boss just kind of told me to just like come in whenever on this day, and we'll just work for a few hours. There was a few times during the weekend days though, where, because that place was, it being a dive bar, and where I grew up, there was never a 2 a.m. curfew for bars. It was kind of like the big thing where I was from, is that one of the main entertainments was dive bars of just some sort of extent. So dive bars, what they generally do is they just stayed open till. There's never really a set time in which they would close. They would just stay open until business slowed down enough to where it made sense for them to close. And on some of those days, dude, I'd be there till like 4:30 in the morning. I'd get there at 6, be there till 4:30 in the morning. And since this place its theme was basically that they had mermaids, on Fridays and Saturday nights they would have essentially one of the bartenders, one of the ladies, one of the girls dressed up as a mermaid. And what she would do is she would sit on the bar top with her her fin, essentially a little tail fin. And if you came up and took a picture with her and then posted it to your socials, mainly Facebook back then, later Snapchat, she would pour you a specialty house homemade shot. And on these nights, since the girls would get dressed as a mermaid in the back, and it's really difficult for them to actually walk with this fin. Listen to Wolves by Post Malone and Big Sean, by the way. How they would get to the actual point because they would sit on the bar to serve their homemade shots and whatnot. How would they get there? That's right, I would carry them like in my arms, all because they would do like a theatric entrance as well. They would like change the music, just signify like, mermaid's coming out, and I would have to carry them and walk slowly so that try and get a good glimpse of all of the guests to see that a mermaid's coming out. You know what I mean? Especially because I'm a dive bar, dude. A lot of the customers are shrunk, middle-aged to older males. That is what it is. They have some alcohol flowing in their system. They're gonna see a pretty woman. Their eyes gonna be like, oh, pretty woman. Fair enough. And I'm the one carrying them to their spot. And I was only, I'm 18. It's like they would sometimes bring the mermaid at like midnight, 1 a.m. already like 5 hours into my shift after I've already done some other heavy lifting tasks or whatnot. Of course, your boy's him like that, so I'm not gonna. But you must be crazy. You think I'm gonna ever drop a lady like that? No way, bro. But I would always carry them to the spot, and then I would get back to doing some bar back stuff. I only worked there for like 2 months just because eventually I was never even technically on the actual schedule, and they just started scheduling me less and less and less to where eventually they just didn't put me on the schedule anymore. It was a nice, fun little 2-month stretch, and I appreciate the managers and boss man's opportunity just for letting me get a little bit of some work in. But then January of 2018, I wanted, I was basically in the job market again. And what did I do? I applied at this place called I don't want to give it. That's called Malin Suki's, we'll call it that, right? And what they did, it was a pizza and ice cream place, right? Now, pizza and ice cream, what does that ring? What type of, customer base would that bring? That would bring in kids, the young ones. And January 5th of 2018, I got hired there as the only busser they had. I kid you not. I was the only bus boy on this schedule for almost my entire time working here. I worked at this place till July 23rd of 2018. And I worked here because I got paid in cash, because I got tipped out from the servers and the bartenders, on top of getting paid a little bit hourly. It wasn't that much hourly back then. It was maybe $5 hourly, but I was getting tipped out as well. I thought it was a pretty good deal overall. And the only issues I really had was with the fact that, dude, I was the only busser, and they knew I was in school and getting ready for track season, and they would schedule me on just some terrible shifts, dude. My boss, dude, would even schedule me on days he knew I had track meets, because on days that on weekends that I didn't have track meets, this guy would schedule me Friday night, Saturday double, Sunday double. So it's cool, dude. I go to school the whole week, work a couple days, a couple nights during the week, and then my weekend, all of it's just gone. All of it is just gone to busting tables. I'm not even trying to say it was hard work. I mean, doing doubles, busting tables, being on your feet all day, it definitely will get, by the end of it, it'll be I'm ready for this to be over. And I was just as an 18-year-old male, a senior in high school, I kind of felt a little bit annoyed how a lot of my weekends just went to working. And this is not I'm not complaining about having to work those hours, but it became to where if I didn't have a track meet, that's what my weekend consisted of. And I didn't really like that. And I even told, I was boss man, respectfully, I am, this is my second semester, my senior year of high school. I don't mind working on the weekends and whatnot, but can I just please not have back-to-back doubles on the weekend? Maybe once a month I'll do the back-to-back doubles, but I really would like to have at least one of those days be off, and I can just enjoy the day, right? I can just enjoy the day off. And he was like, no, maybe we'll look into it. I didn't get it, dude. I didn't know. He didn't give me anything. Was that all 3 vaults? We did run through all 3 vaults. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're gonna keep going. But he kind of gave me some just half-ass answer. Essentially yeah, maybe, man. No. I remember my Mardi Gras break. This man had me work 3 doubles out of the 5 days I had off for the Mardi Gras vacation, essentially, because where I'm from, in the last week of February, most of the time, just depending on how the days would fall, but we would get a Mardi Gras break, which is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week. And then if you were a kid doing career day, you could do Thursday and get for a career day. So you could have essentially almost a whole week off, because you'd come back for one day, which is Friday, and then you immediately have the weekend. It was a nice little stuff that we look forward to of that point of the year every year growing up. So when my Mardi Gras break of 2018 rolled around, I was someone who was very festive and really enjoyed Mardi Gras. Whenever that was just gone, and it was fully dedicated to just me busting tables the entire day of the parades, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of annoyed, because I told my boss, man, dude, can this not be a thing? Me being the only buster on the schedule, bro, he took full advantage of that. He was like, oh yeah. They called me Slim because I listened to Eminem back then a lot in my headphones. He's like, yeah, Slim's has these days off of school. Yeah, we're gonna get his ass in here. Which, I mean, I appreciated making the money, but I also like wanted to have like a slight balance. I want to do a little bit of, you know, hanging out and doing stuff for myself. I like legit had to put in just like days off requests just to even get like a normal stint. Because he even had days, especially when summertime rolled around and my spring break rolled around. This dude had me work 6 days. 6 days in a row, 2 of those being doubles on the weekends. Actually, no, wait. 3 of those being doubles. Because I had multiple days off of school. He's just like, oh, dude, he's working them doubles regardless. I was like, man, it's fine, it's chill. But, like, I don't know, dude. I didn't really like all of my time being dedicated to just that. I like to do stuff for myself. And that guy did not like to do anything for himself. I feel like my manager, he was so dedicated to working at that job. I respect it, but like, I'm a hard worker, but at the end of the day, I'm not giving my all to a company that just thinks me as a stat sheet. Also, can you take damage, please, man? These little... Stop. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get mad or annoyed, but like, that's annoying, man. That's just... That right there, that's so annoying. I'm wailing at this guy. Block. Bro, how did he not die? I'm spamming everything at this freaking clown. How are you not dead? Why? Why are you wasting my iridium, bro? First of all, there's nothing that should even be able to put me in a fight for my life. Okay, it's just how Borderlands does their damage scaling, where any enemy can essentially two-shot you. Which whatever, dude. I'm sorry, bro. Deaths like that I consider that's just dumb, dude. Like, how could that enemy even possibly get me in a fight for my life and then I don't have the damage to get myself back? Like, what? Like, get real, bro. I really do feel like the whole fight for your light system in this game is so outdated. Like, it really is. As someone, like, I will say, like, Destiny does, like, the way their enemy scaling, I feel like they do it just way better than Borderlands, because, like, Borderlands, sometimes it just feels so random. Like, I'm just vibing, then all of a sudden I have 100 HP. It doesn't matter how big my health or shield is, it's just gone. And, like, Mayhem scaling damage barrels were a problem like that with Borderlands 3, and I feel like they're gonna be an issue like that in this game as well. Whatever. Am I crying? Maybe. But anyways, I don't really like when enemies do that. I'm in a really good, like, talking sort of storytelling mood, and then some stupid ass enemy block. Oh yeah, please, bro. I had no freaking health. Like, get out of here, bro. Like, I should be able to stomp on you with my foot and squish you like a frickin' bug. Little rat. Ugh. Weak. I don't like weakness in my video games, bro. That's another thing, like, bro, like, if I can do something in real life that my character can't do in the damn video game, I will... that's how I get triggered. Anyways, my boss man really just, like, took advantage of me being the only buster on the schedule, bro. And he would work me to the nub, work me to the bone. I mean, it was chill, but I'll be honest, by July of 2018 of that summer, I was like, boss man, it's getting a little bit ridiculous. And there's one time where one early morning, bro, it was like 1 p.m. I was having a pretty rough day, dude. I was having a pretty rough day, and I was taking a quick little breather. I was sitting, I was on the toilet. Okay, I was using the bathroom. I'm 18. I'm using the bathroom. What am I gonna do when I'm on the bathroom? Yes, I'm going to be on my phone. Okay, I'm going to be on my phone. I'm in there for maybe 10 minutes. All right, I'm just getting. I'm here on a double, bro. So, like, I have still basically 10 hours to go on my shift. You know, I'm not trying to burn myself out in the first half, because the night shift is generally, like, more busy than the lunch rush. Pick it up. I'm just saying, I don't like this mechanic, bro. It's so, like, clunky. If this system was a bit easier and like fluid in terms of picking up, or I could like grapple and pick them up a lot easier instead of just whiff. What? Like, how did it pick that up? Then I can get it can get a little annoying. Like, pick that up, pick it up, pick it up. Like, why am I having to run all the way over here, look right at it? Like, yeah, you see what I mean, bro? Like, it's, I don't know, man. This event right here, it's just, it's mid. It's mid, bro. It's just kind of mid. It's fine. But I'm sitting there on the phone, just like I'm playing. Honestly, I'm just playing Dokkan. Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, just for 10 minutes. You know, I want to Dokkan Awaken one of my units. I hear someone come use the bathroom, and then 2 minutes later, they leave. Keep in mind, I'm in the stall. Right, I am in the stall. So, in my mind, I'm chilling, I have privacy. But when I come out, my boss man he goes, "Yo, Slim, can you come to my office? Come to my office." He was like, "Nah, I just got out of the bathroom and I saw that you were on your phone in the bathroom." I was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean you saw me in the bathroom on my phone?" He was like, I just went in there and used the bathroom and I peeked through the crack of the stall and I saw you were on there on your phone." And I just look at him, I'm like, "Dude, you peeped on me while I was in the stall taking a dump?" "Yeah, I was on my phone. What else am I gonna do when I'm on the dump?" Right? And he was like, "I'm gonna have to ask to take your phone for the day." I was like, No, you don't pay my phone bill. I pay my phone bill. You don't pay for this. I pay for this. No. You may make my schedule, but you certainly don't control my actions, especially the ones when I'm on, you know, in privacy. Like, no. Like, I'm not doing that, dude. Like, respectfully, sir, no. He's like, "You're gonna have to give me your phone." I was like, "I will put in my 2 weeks right now." And I did. I wrote him on a napkin later that day. I refused to give him my phone. I made him a compromise and I put it in a locker, but there's no way in hell I was gonna give him my phone. No way. I do not like when people of authority try to do that. Like, I didn't like when my teachers in high school would try to confiscate our phones, because it's like, no, I get it, you want us to learn more, but like, respectfully, you don't pay for this. Okay, this is not yours to confiscate. Nah, like, nah. I just did not like that method and way of thinking, like, respectfully. So I put my 2 weeks in. I had some friends. They worked at this, I call it the chicken coop, but it was this chicken restaurant. And they were like, these are some of my good buddies, right? And I asked him, I was like, "Yo, man, are they hiring? Would they, you know what I mean? Would they like to have," I'm saying, I was like, "Yo, can I basically come work over there?" And he's like, "You know, just let me go talk. Let me go talk. I'm out of ammo. Hold on. Let me go buy some ammo. Why is there not a vending machine here? I don't know. I feel like that's, once again, silly game design. Why is there not an ammo machine right there? I don't know. But it's cool. Yeah, chat, this video is going to be longer because I'm telling some stories here. All right. This video is just going to be longer. We did 3 vaults. We tried to do an Ordonite processing event. I got wrecked. But long story short, we're going to be doing, this video is going to be longer. So I asked my buddy if they're looking for any help, and he says he'll talk to him. He'll talk to the GM of the store, see what they can do. He talks to him, tells me, just put an application, and then let him know when he does that. I do that. I essentially skip all of the actual shift. It helps to know people. You know what I mean? It really does. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And sure enough, about 3 days after my last day at Mal and Suki's, I began working at the chicken coop. And while it was I like call it a higher echelon fast food restaurant, it was still, at the end of the day, a fast food restaurant, right? But it was relatively fluid and smooth and pretty fast paced, and the hours weren't terrible. And the big thing that I liked about it is that like, all of us graduated in 2018, and then we began to work with each other. And then I remember 2019 specifically was like such a fun year, dude. for me, 2019 was such a fun year. If anybody began following the channel back in that year was really fun for me. I had a lot of fun, and a lot of good times happened that year. Me and the boys, we got our first ever apartment, which was, I kid you not, it was not even a mile away from my job. So some days I would flat out walk to work. And also during this time, a lot of my friends that I'd gone to school with had we all begun working here part-time for whatever reason, whether it was some of my friends, you know, in school, working here part-time just to make some money to help pay for schooling, textbooks, whatever it may be. I had one friend who was working here full-time to like move up in the company and whatnot, as like almost like as a little career path and whatnot. You know, like, point is that 2019 there was like 7 or 8 of us who had all gone to school and graduated the same class together. And I really enjoyed the atmosphere of working with my friends. We all, first of all, like, yeah, we clowned with each other a lot, but we were also good workers, right? You know what I mean? Like, we worked good together. And we ran, you know, we had smooth shifts. We were all pretty good at our job because, like, the place, I mean, doesn't have much on the menu. It's chicken fries, and that's about it, right? Like, there's not too much. And I for it being a fast food place, yeah, dude, I enjoyed working there because I was working with my friends. I like working with my friends. And I remember there was just one little mess up I had. I was primarily a closer at this job as well, so I'd come in at like 5:30 and we close at generally 12 midnight most nights. And so I don't know why I'm throwing that. So this particular day, I actually worked on the morning shift, right? And since we deal a lot with fryers, we always had to do the filter process twice a day. At night, you had to filter all 5 fryers. There was 3 bird fryers for the chicken, and then 2 fry fryers. In the morning, on day shift, you only had to do, what was it? Oh, no. I'm using the dark beast. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't. Wait. I'm trying to tell a story, you stupid oversized plant. But in the morning, you only had to do the bird fryers. So it's 3 less that you had to do, which made it a lot quicker and a lot easier, faster process. So this specific day, I got lucky because I was scheduled to go ahead and do morning shift filtering, taking, you know, maybe 35-45 minutes. But, you know, I don't have to worry about having to deal with any like of the orders. It's kind of chill because I could literally put in an earbud and I could just vibe it out while I'm doing this whole process. I don't have to listen to any of the communication for bird drops, bird roll, toast walking, anything like that. Fries need to be dropped. I didn't have to worry about any of that because, you know, I'm filtering. I don't know how many of you guys watching this video have ever filtered a fryer before, but the way these worked is that obviously we had our filter pad, and there's basically 3 main nozzles. There was a yellow, red, and a blue one. And it was color coded to determine like how these would be essentially depending on what color you needed and what action you were doing. Something's not working here. Something's not working. Oh, yes, he's pushing me. Yeah, that attack should not be in the game. Oh, yes. Come here, boy. Oh, I love doing that. Where's my damage? Where's my damage? Hold on. My pistol. Did I lose? Where's my damage? Can you go away? Stop. Why are you here? Bro, I'm trying to tell a story. Get away from me. Get away from me. Y'all are so ugly. You're ugly. No one likes you. Can a man just do what he wants? Y'all are rude, bro. Y'all are rude. Oh, I can't mantle. But these switches are basically color-coded for you to know like what you're doing, right? The yellow one drains the oil. The red one puts it back, and the blue one basically toggles what's coming in and what's going out. And it's kind of important for you as the person doing this. Dude, can I stop getting knocked off the map? Jeez. Why does every boss ever have a stomp mechanic, bro? Like, Destiny's so bad with stomp mechanics. Please stop with the stomps. But I filtered maybe 3 or 4 times before this process, and what winded up happening is I put the filter pad one bit over too much to the left, and when I went to drain the dirty oil from the filter, you know, I just start, you know, I pull it and I just start, you know, taking my little scrunchie, and I just start, you know, getting all of the gunk out of the filter. You know what I mean? Any of the gunk that's on the sides, and just start scrubbing it off, because I don't want this to be, you don't want that to be in the chicken. That's why you filter. That's why you filter twice a day. We cook so much chicken, we gotta filter it out. Otherwise, it's gonna start to taste really crap. Well, you know, I'm, you know, scrubbing it, make sure the, you know, the fryer itself's all clean. But then I'm like, dude, why are my feet hot? And like, why is it sticky, bro? I look down. Guess what I see, bro? My stupid ass realized that I quite literally misplaced my filter pad, and because of that, everything was on the floor. Oops. Yep. Not my proudest moment. My GM came out of the office about 5 minutes after I had realized my terrible mistake, and I'm trying to clean it, to like hit us with an announcement. And he goes, "So guys, I need y'all to note about what we have coming up." And he just like stops his sentence and he looks at like what I've done. And he's like, "Kree, dude, come on, man. What is this?" Just utter disappointment in his voice. And I was like, hi. And he's like, "Dude, just clean this up, dude." Yeah, dude. I flooded the whole kitchen with dirty chicken grease. Not my proudest moment. Not my proudest moment. But yeah, I worked at this job for about two years, give or take. It was July 28th, 25th, somewhere in that range, 2018 till May of 2020. At some point, man, once you know, the whole 2020 event hit, they split our team in half, and only people on each team could work with people of that team. This was in efforts to help mitigate the issues. And even though our dining room was closed, all of our business that went in the dining room just went in the drive-thru. So we were essentially double wrapped around the entire lot of the building, from open to close every day. And it was actually so exhausting. And like, by this point, a lot of like my friends that I had worked with had left, and I was just like, everything that I did like about working here had just kind of lost its lust, and everything that I liked is just kind of not even there anymore. To a point to where, like, when we were on a kayaking adventure one weekend, and my buddy brought up his job fair at this local sports bar, Buffalo Wild Bangs. And I heard about that, and like that like planted the seed for like me maybe like going to trying to work over there. And sure enough, fast forward a few days after that kayaking trip, I pull up to work, and I just see this fat Omungo line, and I was already just not in a good mood pulling up to work. And then I see this just stupid fat line, bro, and I'm just like, you know what? Nah. Nope. I go in there. I work to give long enough for everybody to get a break, essentially. A little 30-minute break. I tell everybody, hey, take a 30-minute break today. Take a little bit longer if you need to. Because I told them, I was like, guys, when I go on break today, I'm not coming back. So I want all of y'all to take your break and take it and like enjoy it. Take a long break. I'm not coming back. And sure enough, I went on break. I clocked out. I printed out a little piece of receipt paper, and I told him straight up. I wrote everything. And dude, the store was going through a big turnover rate, dude. It was just everybody was so burnt out that we weren't getting paid any extra for the because like we were doing essentially 75% more work than than normal, and that location was busy, but we weren't getting any extra amenities. We weren't getting paid, compensated for it, and I didn't like that. Nobody did. That's why turnover rate was high. And eventually I went over to work. I went over to the job fair with some of my buddies who still work there, but we went over to this job fair all on the same day. And the way they did it is they had like some of the employees do like ask like some basic questions, and if the employees saw like, okay, maybe there's some potential here, then they would go get one of the main managers, and then the manager would interview us. Now, luckily, the employees of the sports bar who were interviewing us were people that had worked with us at the Coop already and had transferred over here. So like, and we had gone to school with these girls as well. So like, they interviewed us essentially just because they had to, and then they even asked us some some fun fucking bullshit questions, like questions they already knew the answer to, just for the fun of it and for the meme. And then whenever it was my turn to actually be interviewed by one of the actual managers, the server manager specifically, I'll be honest, the server manager that interviewed me for this is like the coolest dude I ever worked for. I was very straight up with him. I was like, hey man, I don't really know jack diddly poo about serving, because I never served. I've never worked front of house, or I mean, I never front of house with customers, right? Because I bust, but like busting, you don't really have to interact with customers. You just clean tables. So I was like, I don't really know too much about alcoholic beverages, because I was 20 at the time, so I'm not really good with mixology. I was really honest with him. I was even honest. I was like, because I initially went there to like apply as a cashier, because my logic was like, okay, I'll just have like an easy little part-time job while I grind YouTube on the side. And at this point, our main content was Borderlands 3, and this was right at the time where the Guardian Takedown was going to be coming out. So I even told him, I was like, hey, because he was asked like, you're 20 years old, why do you want to be a cashier? And I just told him, I was like, I have this YouTube on the side that I really grinding on right now, and I just need like a little place to have some extra money while I grind this on the side. And he's like, okay, that's fairable, that's respectable. He's like, but I'm not gonna hire you as a cashier, dog. I'm gonna hire you as a server. And I was like, wait, really? Because I was like, I told him, I was like, dude, I've never served before. He's like, that's fine. We can coach you right up. We can coach you right on up. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Means you have no bad habits. And he's like, yeah, touche. Just because I had no experience, it's like, okay, I like that. I like that way of thinking. And so, because like, dude, he was trying to like ask me if I knew any mixed drinks, and he was like, Long Island. I was like, Long Island mocha? Like, bro, I was so I had no idea. But he eventually decides, like, he's gonna hire me, hires a few of my buddies as well, and he even went and talked to the GM that he said, I'm gonna hire him, because like, obviously, like, when they interview, they have like your clipboard and they go over their notes and whatnot, and he gave it to the GM of the store, and she was like, why are you hiring this kid? It's like, why? He has no serving experience, knows nothing about mixology, like, why? And my server manager, he just goes, because I can coach him. He has a good attitude, good head on his shoulders, and that's all we need. We don't need experience. We need to build this from the ground up. So, because that's why they're even having this job fair to begin with, because he just recently got hired, and he was trying to install a entirely different culture that was there beforehand, of like teamwork, good quality customer experience, and we all help each other. We're a team. We really installed that, and he wanted to get people with good, just positive mindset, good head on their shoulders, and no pre-built bad habits from working at other places. And because I was essentially fresh young blood, me and my friends, we were kind of like perfect for what he wanted. And so he hired us because of that. And I worked at that beat I worked at that sports bar all the way until February 5th of 2022, 20 months. And I really, really enjoyed working there. I worked multiple football seasons there, even as a bartender. And as someone who's a big football nerd, that fit perfectly up my alley so that I could yap with the customers about the games, what's going on, my opinions, my teams, and whatnot. And I made genuine connections with some of the regulars and guests at that place, so much so that even after I stopped working there, I would frequently go up to that location just to hang out and just be a customer and be a guest there, because I genuinely enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite spots, even still, even though now I am, 500 plus miles away from that location. Whenever I go visit my home, I make sure that I go to that B-Dubs location every single time. I enjoy it. I really do like it. Straight up. I still talk with some of the regulars from that location. Heck, I even am in a few fantasy football leagues with guests from that location. And I really, really enjoyed working there, and I appreciate my time there. I worked as a server for the first half, and then they liked me as a server so much they wanted to cross-train me behind the bar. They're like, "Yo, Kree, would you be interested in working as a bartender?" And at first I was kind of hesitant. I don't really know why, but I was kind of hesitant. I was like, I mean, if you guys need one, I wouldn't mind, but like I like serving. And eventually, like a couple more months passed, and it's like, Kree, we're gonna cross-train you behind the bar. You're gonna like it, trust me. And so, sure enough, yes, random explosions. This is another issue I don't have. Just a lot of nonsense, bro. Like random explosions going off, barrels, stupid. Sorry, just not a big fan of those types of enemies, and just the randomness it feels like with it. Anyways, I became a bartender, and I may have not been the most perfect bartender in terms of like the most precise, pinpoint, accurate pours, but I was a really good bartender in terms of keeping the guests happy and entertained, bro. I would yap and say some flat out goofy stuff and clown on my own self, and just I kept it real with my guests up there, bro. I would always keep it real with them because like that's my bar, that's my area, bro, and I kept it real with my guests. I did, bro. I always made sure to like memorize their names, tell them my name. Like if any of y'all ever bartend, y'all know what I'm talking about. Bartending is really fun, especially if you have like good guests. You're giving them a good experience, bro. Like it's just a good vibe because like that area is yours. You're not having to go back and forth between, the kitchen, the tables, and all this stuff. You have your area that you maintain and keep track of. That's your area, and something that I really did enjoy doing for my time. The only reason I started working there is because I wanted to give full-time content creation a try, which is what we've been doing for over 4 years at this point, which is kind of crazy. Like, dude, where does the time go? It goes, man, it goes. But yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the level 60 roulette. Obviously, the roulette's really good at level 50, so level 60, who would have thought? It's really good here, and it's also really good on cash. Hope you enjoyed my work stories. Let me know some of your work stories, your job history. Just like this is what the showcases are for, man. We yap. Much love, much love. Big shout outs to our channel members. We did actually get a new addition to the channel members family in Bodotron, my man. Welcome to the fam. Thank you so much again, my man. Glad to have you as part of one of the members. Much love, my man. Thank you so much for your support, as well as all the other members, Pikachu, KJ, Perplexity in general, and now Bodotron. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Have a great day. Be safe. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you beautiful faces in that next one. Adios, baby.